back with more Buffy. This is episode 10 of season 6. Very excited to carry on with the season. Last episode. Lots is going down. It's all very blurry and in summary, that's my review. Yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable things going on, but at the same time they're very interesting, at least to me. And yeah, I'm very intrigued as to what happens now, given particularly the Spike and Buffy situation at the end of the last episode, and of course Willow kind of spiralling out of control with this whole magic addiction she's got going on. So I am very intrigued by all these different elements. I don't think excited is the right word to use at the moment, because obviously it's kind of awful, the stuff that's happening, and yeah, very, very mixed feelings, but I'm very interested in them at the same time. So yeah, got some very intriguing stuff kicking off with this season so far. And yeah, I look forward to seeing how they're going to continue to explore these things. So yeah, let's get into the next one. This is the wholesome morning after.
Oh my god.
Talk about morning wood, eh? Ugh.
Stop! No!
Oh boy.
I knew the only thing better than killing a Slayer would be...
Come on.
You're just convenient.
But I know where you live now, Slayer.
Well, we've known that for a while.
I've tasted it.
Oh.
Kitty crap.
I may be dirt, but you're the one who likes to roll in it, Slayer. You never had it so good as me.
Oh man.
You gonna want these too?
Oh! I mean, you definitely deserve that one.
Amy Tara. Amy. How you doing? Fine, I better get going. Amy!
Oh,
Amy the rat?
let's start
Sorry. No, that's fair. I was a rat.
Yep.
She's a freaking amazing witch now. I couldn't even keep up with her last night. Amy. No, it's true. I mean, I can do some transmography, but she's messing with dimensions and everything. It was awesome.
Amy, shut up.
So, what's the big bad? Should we be worried?
Let's not talk about his big bad, shall we?
Thank you. I gotta get some sleep. Me too. Yeah.
Let me rest in peace. Let me get some sleep.
I'll just go find some awake people.
Oh,
Club day.
come on. Oh, did you use up all your magic juice? See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
Anya!
I'm sorry, but this is pointless. We've been researching forever, and we're not even close to finding out who robbed that museum.
She's so blonde.
Anya,
Did I miss that?
I can't decide whether to put my bridesmaids in cocktail dresses or the traditional burlap with blood larvae.
The traditional what? Hit the streets. Get Spike on it.
No.
Spike's been on it enough times.
No, the streets. You know, maybe she doesn't need to be monitored.
Um,
You know, she's going through something, but we're not her. I mean, maybe she has reasons for acting this way. And
She does,
so
but
what if she crossed a line? You know,
doesn't mean it's
we
right.
all do stuff. Stupid stuff. But
I like that Buffy's the one defending her, because she's doing like the same kind of thing.
And he knows spells that last for days, and the burnout factor is like nothing. Really? He's a warlock?
No.
Yes. He will take you to places that you can't even imagine.
Disneyland? It's Ethan Rain.
This is it. Greg, it's my turn.
We got power, girls, just before we're coming off the waves.
Hands off Bon Jovi. Oh. Oh look, she's high. Subtle. Oh shit. Oh. Oh god. You're gonna cuddle it, aren't you? Oh. That's so sad. It's like Onward. Have you seen Onward? This is Onward.
We can do something if you want. A movie, maybe? Really? But I thought you weren't feeling so good.
Oh, she just wants someone to pay her attention.
Fix. Hello?
Oh dear. This better not be Spike.
What's going on?
Oh.
Oh. Busted. Where's Willow?
At least it's not Spike.
He does smells heavy stuff. Willow's his new favorite. She's there. With Dawn.
Oh shit.
Oh, don't shake me again. Super strength. I think I'm gonna boot.
Shake her again.
And I won't. The burger was good. You liked it? Are you kidding? It was like a meat party in my mouth. Okay. No, I'm just a kid, and even I know that came out wrong. The other day with Tara. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it was nice. But it wasn't a laugh riot.
It is like divorced parents, isn't it?
I just have to make one quick stop first.
Oh no. No.
I'll just be a minute, and it doesn't matter if we miss the trailers.
Oh god, what's gonna happen to her?
Trailers.
Me too. Come on. Oh. Yeah. Oh.
Rack.
Yeah, he's some sort
I
of.
know who he is. He
Oh.
does the magic, black stuff.
Oh. She just wanted to see a movie.
It's too late for the movie, and that guy smells like.
Oh fuck.
Are you okay?
No.
That might be how you get off, but it's not my style.
No, it's your calling. Gave me a run for my money, Slayer.
Boy.
You felt something last night.
Not love.
Not yet. But I'm in your system now. You're gonna crave me like I crave
Here.
blood, and then
Maybe I could just pop you back. With magic?
Oh god, no.
What's that? It was probably a cat or something like that.
Or,
It's okay, he's not real. Seems real.
oh, because it's trying to show the vision of. Oh,
Don't! She has nothing to do with it, it was me.
oh, go on, Dawn. Reverse.
What are you doing?
Oh my god, Willow, you're terrifying her.
Take that, Scuzz.
Oh, shit! Yep, go on. Yes! Yes! Willow did something? Oh god. Oh, she's gonna be so fucking pissed at you. And she should be, but...
I'm so sorry. Donnie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get up.
You're getting no sympathy from her.
Everything, Tara. Yeah, you know what? You did screw up, okay? I need help.
Yes, you do.
Please help me.
Man. Oh, I hope this is the turning point, because, oh, that was awful.
She's gonna be alright. It's a fracture.
Physically,
It's
yes.
gonna take some time. It started before she left. It's why she left.
At least she's admitting that.
The plain old Willow or Super Willow, who would you be?
Plain Old Willow's awesome.
You don't actually have an option on the whole super thing. You don't need magic to be special. don't I? I mean, Buffy, who was I? Just some girl. Tara didn't even know that girl. You are more than some girl. And Tara wants you to stop.
Yeah.
I was out of my mind. I did things I can't even. It won't happen again, I promise.
I don't like it when people say that in TV shows.
I won't miss the nosebleeds and the headaches and stuff. There you go. Or keeping stinky yak cheese in my bra. Don't ask. No, I don't have to.
Yeah, it's good to list the positives, focus on those.
Exactly. It's over.
I don't believe that for either of them, unfortunately. Oh god, look at... Oh man. Is that keeping Spike out? Okay, that was quite something. Wow. Good episode overall, pretty solid. I wouldn't say it's one of my absolute favourites, but I did like the ongoing explorations of Buffy's addiction, I guess. Certainly Willow's addiction, and the parallels between those two and their kind of ongoing struggles I think are very, very interesting. And I like that we kind of got a big step forward for Willow for now. I imagine it's going to be an almighty step back, because we're not even halfway through the season yet. But it's nice to kind of see Willow recognising herself, what's gone wrong, and that she's kind of losing control and losing herself. And we so nearly got that with Buffy in the previous episode, but, you know, shit happens and she got interrupted, and I hope we can kind of get that kind of epiphany for Buffy as well. She seems to have had it in this one through Willow's actions. I think she can clearly see a lot of parallels in Willow. You know, at the start of the episode, she was kind of defending her to Xander and Anya. So, you know, she's grown up, I'm sure she's fine. I think that's because she was seeing a lot of the same struggles that she was going through in Willow, so she wanted to believe that she was fine. And she was like the big defender of her. And then everything with Dawn obviously went down. She kind of lost that, but she still saw those parallels between what Willow was going through and what she was going through. And I think that's why Buffy didn't lose it as much as she may have done. I think if this was a pre-season 6 Buffy, perhaps she would have been a lot more hard on Willow there, and, you know, I think there would have been a lot of hell to pay. But I think because Buffy understands in a major way what that feeling's like, to be free and be distracted from all your problems, that's how Willow kind of sees her magic. And as well as that, it's the only kind of, I think that she labels herself as worthy because of her magic, as opposed to any of her other personality traits, which is really sad and really tragic. But I can kind of get not liking yourself and feeling low and feeling like you're worthless and you're not good for anything. So I think that's kind of why I really like this story for Willow so much. I feel like I'm going to be an avid defender for this story for Willow. So I can kind of see it. I kind of buy into this story for her and why it's gone down this way. I really do. And I did actually go and reach for this, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Blooded. I'm reading this on Patreon with my patrons. And nearly done with it. But this is set during season 3. And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but the big thing that kicks off the main plot and the main conflict is Willow feeling like she's worthless and feeling like she doesn't add anything to the group, and feeling like, oh, I wish I could be like Buffy, I wish I could be like a super Willow, a super powered, you know, badass. I wish I could be like that. And her struggle with that and her kind of self-loathing over that and that feeling of meekness and worthlessness that she suffers causes things to go horribly, horribly wrong. So I was getting to that point in the episode and I was like, oh my god, this is just like the book I'm reading. And that's set during season 3, and I still feel like that story felt quite natural even in season 3 for Willow. And think of how things have gone now and how much her you know, how much more consumed by magic she is now. I just think it makes even more sense. I completely get it if you're not a fan of the story, because I think it is tough to watch and tough viewing. I mean, I lost it in that scene where they broke down. I think a lot of that is Aniston's acting, because she always gets me when she cries, but I think I'm just so deeply connected to Willow and so relate to that struggle. I mean, if someone said, oh, you know, do you want to use magic? Do you want to have superpowers? If someone came up to me and just said that, I'd be like, absolutely fucking yes, let's do it. Because I'd be like, oh yeah, this is something I can talk about. You know, I'm a very quiet person in real life. I'm very reserved and very isolated, certainly now, in the current world. But a lot of my family kind of say that, you know, that we go to family meetings and I don't talk, really, unless they kind of speak to me or they talk about something that I'm interested in, per se. And I think I get a bit of flack for it, really, but it's just who I am. And I always think when they're having these conversations about, I don't know, motorways or politics, blah, 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 and I just sit there and listen to them, you know. I find it somewhat interesting, but I don't say a word because I just like, oh, well, I don't have anything interesting to say, I don't have anything to add. I don't really know a lot about this, I'm just going to listen. And then all I get is, why don't you talk? Why don't you talk to us? Because I have nothing to say. And I always assume that I have nothing important to say to a lot of people in a lot of conversations, so I don't say much at all. And then I think that kind of comes across as, oh, he doesn't really care about this conversation, he doesn't want to talk to us. It's just I'm not very knowledgeable in the subjects most people talk about. So I can kind of completely understand that lack of self-worth, I guess. And I know it's a problem, I recognise that. But it's in here. And I can't do anything about that right now. And if I could like have magic and feel some worth, I would absolutely, I think I would say yes. And would it consume me the way it has with Willow? I don't know, I can't say. But I can't say I wouldn't, so who would I be to judge her? If I haven't gone through exactly the same thing, I don't think I can judge her. I mean, not to the actions and what she's doing, I can judge her for, absolutely, because, you know, I think this is probably Willow's lowest moment, I would say. And I have been getting comments about my love for Willow, and I know I'm often biased. I wouldn't say always. It's like, I don't really want to talk about the outside thing of reactions too much, but I get a lot of people messaging me, hating on me for liking Willow too much. I'm not allowed to have a favourite character, apparently. Some people are very nice about it, it's fine. And they still kind of enjoy my stuff, even if it's not their favourite. They just be like, okay, but they don't actively kind of mention it and call me out or anything. And some people are very nice about it and they just want to debate and have a friendly debate. Sometimes it escalates, and again, sometimes that's just on me. I take it a bit too personally, and that's okay. That's not against the people that kind of started that, because they're just getting an opinion out, and that's fine. But I also get people messaging me saying, why do you hate Tara? I don't hate Tara, I really like Tara. Often, you know, like Once More Feeling, I said she's one of my favourite parts of the episode. She had my favourite song in the episode. I'm on her side over this whole thing with Willow. And I get messages like, why do you hate Tara so much? You suck. You're awful. You're the worst person I've ever seen. I'm like, what? Do you even watch my reactions? Or often than not, you know, I think people watch my reactions and not my afterthoughts, and I think sometimes my reactions don't show what I'm actually feeling, because I'm just reacting to it in the moment and I haven't reflected on it. When I often say a lot of lovely things about Tara, because I think she's lovely. I prefer Oz and Willow. Sure, of course I do. I've said that many times. It doesn't mean I hate Tara, and that's my big pet peeve, I think, but never mind. But I think I've always called Willow out, you know. Go back to season 3, the whole thing with her and Xander. I said, you know, she utterly disappointed me with that. And and she very much disappointed me in this episode, but I understand it. And I can understand and forgive going down the slippery slope. I think it's harder to forgive how she treated Dawn in this episode, absolutely. That was vile. But she's the cinnamon roll, and I think she's always going to be capable of being that again. So why just write her off, you know? That's how I see it. But I can totally get if you don't like Willow, blah blah blah, all of that. And I can understand why this, if you liked Willow before, why this might turn you off. Same it goes with Buffy and everything. But, you know, I just find it odd that if I criticise other characters, or criticise characters I openly like, it gets a bit more attention than if I criticise characters that some people don't like, you know? It's a thing, but that's kind of how it just goes, because everyone has different opinions and everyone has different favourite episodes, blah blah blah. So, you know, I completely respect everyone's opinions, and I'm just getting that out there. That's how I feel at times. But that's not trying to kind of get anyone, and I'm not talking about individual events or people at all. It's just kind of the general feeling. Apart from the people who message me on Instagram and Twitter with all their hate for me loving Willow and hating Tara, apparently, because I don't, you can fuck off. So, what else? Just the whole idea of the addiction, and while I do like the story with Willow, one thing I will say is the whole thing with this Rack guy, I kind of like the idea of them like going to some of dark black magic and all that kind of thing. I don't mind them like getting high on it. Just the scenes of them like going and the slow motion and all the weird kind of filters to make everything look all weird and that. I liked the stuff when Willow did that, and then went off with Dawn, that whole thing escalated and it was kind of awful, and just the sequences of her and Amy like getting high, I just felt that was a bit, well, I enjoy subtlety more, and I think Buffy's been a lot more subtle with that. I don't think they needed to do that. We'd already kind of, I think I could already equate Willow's story in particular to that of like a drug addict, and I feel like this episode was just a bit too heavy-handed on that. Because the whole thing with Dawn, you know, a lot of that, for the most part, that whole sequence, that was earlier in the episode with her and Amy, that was kind of mainly off-screen, and we were focusing on how it was affecting Dawn, and she was just sat on her own. Oh my god, I think this might be my favourite Dawn episode. I think this might be the most I've ever liked Dawn. I like Dawn anyway, but I felt this might be her finest hour for me. The amount of, I think, again, it's just, she has so much love and respect for Willow, and I think that's why it just hurt like 10 times more than maybe it would have done normally, just because of how much she loves and adores Willow, and how much she respects her, and I think she just felt so betrayed. Because when she hit Willow, I was like, oh god, I mean, I think normally I'd have been like, well, that's out of line, that's not, I can't see Dawn doing that, but given earlier in the episode, we were kind of seeing her like, she like threw some dirt in the demon's face and she kicked it and legged it, and she was showing those kind of, that build-up of anger, and, you know, immediately before the whole thing, she was waiting for like 2-3 hours just on her own with all these strangers, these kind of magic druggies, probably terrified out of her wits that something was going to happen to her, getting angrier and angrier because she just wanted to, finally someone was showing her attention again, and I was like, oh, we're going to go and see a movie, and Dawn's clearly very lonely, and I like them kind of exploring that with her, kind of, she'd been neglected a bit, and again, Buffy didn't know that Willow wasn't going to be home, Willow didn't know Buffy was going to be home, but they were both out, and it was up to Tara, again, to kind of be the one to look after Dawn. She's not even the one living there anymore. Tara is very precious, in that regard, and again, the kind of scenes with them at the start were very, very wholesome. I really like that relationship, and I hope we continue to see it. When Amy was kind of spouting all this stuff about, oh, Willow's so powerful, blah, 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 my heart was breaking for Tara, because it was just like, oh, maybe there's just nothing I can do, I think she was kind of thinking, because even breaking up with her, Willow's still doing this, still going down that path. And you could see how crushed Tara was about that, and she even had that stutter again for a minute. I was like, oh god, it's just so, so sad. So I'm hoping this is like a big turning point, this whole thing with Dawn, because it was so hard to watch, so rough, but I can kind of understand how it escalated with Dawn, She just spent like 3 hours being absolutely pissed at Willow, and then she got attacked by a demon, she got hurt, you know, fight or flight response kicked in. So I kind of bought into the violence against the demon and then against Willow at the end, like just utterly punch to the gut, I would say, for Dawn. And I really, really liked that side of her. I really enjoyed that kind of feistiness, and she's made from Buffy. It kind of makes sense that that could be part of her, that kind of aspect of her. So I really enjoyed the Dawn stuff a lot. The journey to get there was the weird, oh, we're high sequence. I didn't like that. I thought that was just a bit too heavy-handed, but I do like the idea of like the addiction storyline still. I just think that particular scene was too on the nose for me. It kind of was like, that seems a bit off. And I just feel like they could have been a bit more clever about that, or, you know, maybe this rack guy, which is again an interesting kind of concept. Maybe he could have just taught them a new spell, and that goes out of control for them, you know, and we don't get the weird, wacky hallucination scenes. I did like how they kind of foreshadowed that, and she actually like summoned a demon or whatever through that spell. I just think they could have handled it a bit better, is all. It's kind of my big problem with the episode. And yeah, Amy, I think she's a bit of a bad influence, but again, she's kind of going through this addiction as well. I think it's kind of escalated a lot for her because she's been a rat for years, so why is she suddenly really bad again? I feel like we didn't really see that side to her before. Maybe I'm just forgetting what she was like. I feel like she was a lot nicer before this, but again, I guess you don't know that side to them. Clearly she's been going to this rat guy for quite some time, because he knew her before she turned herself into a rat, and that's kind of where she learned that spell, which is interesting. I quite like that idea. And there's a lot of sides to people you just don't see, I guess. So maybe Amy did always have that side. And it makes sense because her mum was kind of so obsessed with using spells to stay young. It can make sense that maybe it rubbed off on Amy. It just kind of, that's how it happened, that kind of, yeah. It's a mess, but I'm still very, very intrigued by the story and I'm still very much enjoying it, aside from the weird Bucky scene. So yeah, I'm enjoying to see where that's going to go, and I don't think that's it now. Willow's never going to use magic again. I don't believe that for a second, because, you know, I think addiction's a disease that needs to have time to be taken over. And, you know, I've known a few addicts in my life, and I can't relate to it because I've never kind of, that's not ever happened to me. But I just can really feel the struggle, and I can kind of understand it, I guess. I'm not forgiving it, don't confuse that, please. But yeah, that's just how I kind of felt about it. And I'm very much intrigued by that story, and I do like this big turning point for Willow. I would love that to just be the breaking point for her, and it was just so sad seeing her kind of fall apart like that. But again, she did kind of have it coming because she's been going down this path even before Tara broke up with her. So I'm glad she didn't pin that on Tara. And, you know, every now and again she still makes like little quips, and the bit with her eating the olive in the last episode, you know, that was a very Willow thing to do. So I think she's still in there, the Willow we used to know, and I can completely understand her being like, well, old Willow's pointless, you know, superpower Willow, she actually means something, she's worth something. I can completely understand that point of view. So I guess that's kind of why I like the storyline. As hard as it is to watch, and I do want Willow to kind of change her ways and go back to who she used to be as much as she can. I always find it interesting to see the characters I love pushed sometimes to the peak of that's not them anymore. And I think, because I can kind of understand that road she's gone down, it's not like, oh god, they've ruined his character. But again, if that's how you see it, I can completely get it and understand that. So I don't think, I would never hate on someone's opinion unless they're hating on someone else's, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm very intrigued by that story, and I did enjoy most of what they did with it in this episode. The whole escalation thing with Dawn was quite something, and we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Anya and Xander only very briefly, but I still enjoyed their presence. I liked Anya reading the magazines, the writing magazines behind the book. That was very funny. and them kind of talking about Willow as well. If you're worried, do something about it, talk to her, and I'm glad she kind of did open up at the end, so hopefully that's a big step forward, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen with that. I feel like if Tara knows that Willow's kind of done this and has opened up about it, saying that she needs help, I'm so glad she said she needed help, someone actually did something about it. Hopefully she might be there for Willow going forward, even if they don't get back together. Maybe she'll help her through it, which would be wholesome, but we'll see. And the scene where she kind of filled Tara's clothes up so she could hug it, oh, that broke my heart, that was so, so sad. And then, yeah, the whole Buffy and Spike situation. We'll talk about that as well. They like it rough, I guess. And I think Buffy's kind of... It's a different kind of pain. She's aware of the pain. She's feeling something, even if it is pain. And rough nights with Spike, it's something that she's feeling, and she hasn't felt something since she's returned. And she's kind of... At least that's something, you know? At least that's some aspect of being alive, and I can recognise that I am alive again, because I can feel this pain, which she didn't feel before. And that's also what I like near the end, where Willow was kind of saying, you know, oh, I felt free with the magic. And Buffy can feel that in a way when she's with Spike. She kind of gets away from the, you know, the numbness of life, but she also knows what it's like to be free when she was in heaven. I think that's kind of why she was so forgiving of Willow near the end. So yeah, I really liked that kind of little tidbit as well. And yeah, Spike, he's crude and makes some inappropriate comments and gestures and all sorts, and you know, I think they're both treating each other not ideally, and there's certainly not much respect, but you know, Spike's without a soul, Buffy feels numb and is going through shit, and I think she kind of said it best when, you know, she said he's convenient. It just so happens that of all people who can understand her and relate to her, it's Spike. I think that's kind of what it is. And Spike wants to read more into that because he has this... I think he maybe has like a false idea of just how connected he and Buffy are. Personally, I do think there is a little spark or something there. We saw it last season when, under the guise of the Buffy bot, you know, she kissed Spike, and she didn't have to kiss him in that moment, but she still chose to. So there are these moments of that in there with Spike, but I think now he's kind of gotten what he wanted in a way. You know, he kind of has to be selfish because he doesn't have any other way of living. Now he's gotten that, I don't think he's going to want to give it up, and he's going to want to hold on to that. And I don't like that idea because it just means more uncomfortableness, and yeah, it's certainly not relationship goals. A long fucking way from that. But again, I find it so fascinating how those two have kind of fallen into that. And we'll see how they kind of explore it further. But yeah, not healthy, pretty toxic, as is Willow and her kind of magic addiction stuff. But hopefully this whole thing with Dawn has allowed Willow to kind of make that, you know, make that step, cut those ties, and hopefully we'll get a bit more from that in the future. And Buffy seems to have made that step as well. I mean, seeing that with Spike, putting the garlic in the room and everything, she might not think she can help herself, but we'll see how long either of them last. I don't think we're truly done with either of those stories by a long shot, so I'm excited to see where they go with that. But yeah, overall, solid episode. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourites. Particularly didn't like how they went about the drug addict parallel with Willow and her magic. I think that was a bit too on the nose, that particular sequence where they were all kind of losing it. But how she's kind of acting around Dawn, how vile she was kind of being, and just lack of respect for Dawn and that mistreatment, how that ties into what Dawn's going through right now, feeling like no one's really being there for her, and definitely my favourite Dawn episode I think so far for her. And yeah, just exploring, you know, this flaw that Buffy's kind of going through that she can't feel, and the big flaws in Willow's character, and the fact that, you know, right now she's not a very nice person. She does some awful things, particularly in this one. But I can still understand that journey, and I think that's why I'm finding it interesting. And I just like holding on to hope that my cinema role is going to kind of sort things out. So yeah, pretty solid episode. And I look forward to seeing where they're going to take this as we head to about the halfway point of the season already, somehow. But I'm still really liking season 6 so far. I think it's very interesting. So I look forward to that. My next reaction in the next cycle will be the next episode of Buffy, and then I think it's 2 Angels. But I'm very excited for that, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.